Now, let us take up the 11th one as a part of our discussion over popular programming languages. The 11th one, it is somewhat different from others and all that. Earlier, whatever we discussed and all that, they are purely programming languages, either programming languages or scripting languages and all that. Now, the 11th one is .NET languages. .NET. Actually, it is written like this, .NET. This is developed by Microsoft. Microsoft, in order to face competition from Java, they have developed this unique platform. This is .NET platform, and it is having its special features. It combines, it integrated both internet and web in application programs. Both internet and web in our computer programs and all that, and all these programs are distributable over internet. That is the specialty of that. Actually, .NET is having, .NET you have to understand as a platform. .NET is not at all a language, and there are three primary languages for .NET. Those are designated as primary languages for .NET. First one is Visual C++, that is based on C++, and the second one is Visual Basics, VB. This is based on basic language. And third one is C Sharp. C Sharp especially developed for the sake of .NET platform. Understand that? The three. One is VB, Visual Basic, based on basic and basic language. Visual C++, based on C++ language. And the third one is C Sharp. C Sharp actually it was developed for the sake of .NET platform. The three are called primary languages for .NET platform. Apart from that, totally in 2016 there are 35 languages designated as .NET languages. And what are the .NET languages? What are the specialty? Then, if you consider that, now actually, if you develop a project, all the modules or all the components should be in one language. That is a basic principle. But with the .NET platform, one great advantage is there. Actually, any component of the project can be developed in one of the .NET languages. In which language you are well familiar, in that language you can develop the component. Okay, in that way, if components of a project, let us say three components of projects are developed in three individual .NET languages, they can be integrated. .NET platform allows to integrate them as one project. Understand? That is the unique specialty of the .NET platform. Understand? These are easily distributable on the internet. So that's why you must remember that the three languages VB, VC++, and C Sharp. C Sharp as the .NET platform primary languages, and totally 35 languages are earmarked as .NET languages in 2016. This list may be increased. So that much knowledge you must have on this. In this context, one thing I have to tell you. Actually, C Sharp, actually C is not the language of Microsoft. If they develop a language for .NET platform, they can give any name as they like basic or Java or something else. But why they have given C Sharp? Actually, the underlying concept, the underlying idea behind it, you should grasp. Every time I tell this point, C sharp. So that is sharp C. Actually, this is written like this, but we have to call it as C sharp. So you must have, it indicates that you must have C knowledge. C is the base, and you have to sharpen it here. So the roots are in C. That they would like to, Microsoft would like to tell the student community, you start with C, and in this platform, for this platform sake, you learn this language by sharpening your C knowledge. So if you realize that, definitely you will grow as a programmer very naturally. Understand? There are this much. This is a very brief detail. And next, PHP. PHP is object-oriented, open source scripting language. This is very, very popular scripting language, and its main clients are Facebook and Wikipedia. Facebook and Wikipedia are developed using PHP language. This is a platform independent language. Platform independent language means, actually you have to understand what is platform in this context. Platform word is being used very loosely in programming world. But in this context, you have to understand the combination of the processor and operating system. The combination of the processor and operating system together is called a platform. Understand? Suppose Intel processor with a Windows operating system, it is named as Wintel platform. Like that, many types of processors are there, many types of operating systems are there. The combination you have to understand as a platform. So as PHP language is a platform independent language, it can work on all the platforms in a similar manner. Actually, in case of other languages except Java, like C, C++ and all that, those are not platform independent and all. That's why you have to use separate compilers. What you are using on a different platform, different compilers you have to use and all that. In case of platform independent and all that, we can overcome that limitation. Actually, this works on Windows, Linux, Unix, and Mac, and all the operating systems. That is the specialty of the PHP. This is object-oriented, open source scripting language, very popular one. Okay. Thereafter, Perl. Perl. Perl, the complete form is Practical Extraction and Report Language. Practical Extraction Report Language. It was developed in 1987 by Larry Wall, and this is most popular object-oriented scripting language, and for this is useful for web programming, and it is very good, very efficient for text processing, and it is a very flexible language. Next, the 14th, Python. This Python language is a object-oriented scripting language. It was developed in released in 1991, and this was developed based on Modula 3. Modula, it is a system-oriented language, system programming language, and based on that it is developed. And this language is extendable, having extendable nature using classes and interfaces. Okay. Thereafter, Ruby and Rails. Actually, Ruby is a object-oriented programming language, and Rails is a web application framework. You have to understand what is framework. A framework provides a lot of ready-made code. Ready-made code, whatever code you want and all that, you can call and use. You need not develop code. Wherever the term framework, very loosely this word is used, and whenever you find framework and all that, in especially with reference to programming languages and all that, you have to understand a framework provides lot of ready-made code and all that. Just wherever you require some code with a specific functionality, you can call and use. So here Ruby works on a Rails framework and all that, and it is a open source. It is open source object-oriented programming language. Open source means it is available. The source code is also available to everybody. Anybody can take the open source code, and whatever changes they can study. They want to make any changes in that, they can change, and they can extend the functionality of that. That is the open source, and this is very useful where database intensive web applications, where database is extensively used in web applications. This is the Ruby and Rails. This is the most suitable language or platform, and this is used for user interface of the Twitter. Okay. Thereafter, the last one, that is Scala. Scala means you have to understand it as scalable language. Scalable language means it is extendable according to the requirement within the available resources. Actually, certain terms you should not use loosely. Scalable means you have certain parameters. Within the certain parameters, you can extend it according to your requirement. That is called scalability. Here, it is scalable language. It was released in 2003, and its specialty is it supports like C++. It supports both FOP and WOOP language, and it is designed to integrate with the Java. Understand? It is mainly designed to integrate with the Java, and it is the main clients of this is Twitter and Foursquare. Okay, and totally, there are dozens of languages, programming languages. Here, only 16 languages, just briefly I introduced, because if you don't have this knowledge and all that, certain doubts are always remained uncleared in your brain. Why so many languages and all that? Here you must understand, after this discussion and all that, there are many languages. Every language is having its own specialities. So, and one more thing also I have to tell you, programmers may not learn all the languages. They choose some languages and learn. In such case and all that, in one or more languages, if they get a proficiency over that, they develop the applications whatever they have to perform in those languages only. So where they are comfortable, they develop in those languages and all that. So it is not possible for one professional to learn all these languages. But one thing I am telling you, if you are well familiar with the C family, C, C++, and Java, including .NET languages, you will be familiar with any language. In no time, whatever language you require and all that, it's a matter of few days job. And one thing I am telling you, nobody can become professional overnight. Once you take up an application and all that, it demands many things, many skills and all that. So according to its demand of a particular project, then you study and you implement that, and you understand pros and cons, and you face bugs and how to fix them and all that. Ultimately, you will become a proficient or professional in that domain. That always you remember that. Theoretical knowledge and all that actually not useful because this is application oriented. But if you have the command over C oriented languages, C, C++, Java, at least C and Java, then you enrich your self confidence in such a fashion, anything you can learn in a short span. But becoming proficient over anything is not overnight job. You have to take up several applications, and by that you can understand all the pros and cons of the language, and ultimately you will become a professional. At the end of this, I have to tell you one thing, because here, mm, if you are studying C language and all that, just if you are a beginner programmer and you want to develop as a proficient programmer, then you must realize one thing: C is the golden threshold for the programming world. So you start with C, study everything, just a matter of few weeks job on my system. Few weeks, it is 5 to 6 weeks. If you study, definitely you can master over C, and that contributes a lot for learning advanced languages. And the next one is Java. Java is the true object oriented programming language, and any language to become popular, it takes lot of time. But Java, in no time, within a short span of time, it was released in 1995, and by 2000, almost 20% of world programmers have become Java programmers. You must know one amazing fact. In the world, 45 million programmers are there. Out of that, 11 million programmers are Java programmers in 2016. That means 20% of world programmers are Java programmers as on that. That is such a powerful thing. If you have to become a professional over Java and all, start with C language and then come to, don't think of C++. I will tell you a technique how to master C very easily, and first master over FOP, function oriented programming, then come to Java and master over OOP. This is the simplest and natural technique to grow as a proficient programmer.